Welcome, my name is Kat. This is my channel Kat Can Sew, and welcome to my WIP Parade. I'm on Instagram under Kat Can Sew. Let's get that out of the way real quick. Hopefully this year I will remember to post more, but I regularly post my Disneyland visit photos, plus hopefully there will be more sewing stuff this year as well. I've been doing Flosstube for about a year and a half, 2 years ish. I think about 2.5 years. I did have a bit of a no, I'm not filming any at the end of 2024, but I got back into it last year and I stayed pretty consistent. I am gonna, this is my, I don't know how many retake on my intro. This is a re-record. I did record this on Saturday. Unfortunately, it was a jumbled mess with many restarts, but restarts all over the place. So I decided to re-record it so it's easier to edit. To anybody who is new, welcome. I hope you like what you see and stick around. For everybody returning, thank you, and I hope you enjoy watching it. This is going to be a bit of a long one because it's a WIP Parade, so make sure you have your stitching and maybe a drink. And let's jump into who am I. I am Kat. I am Australian, but I live in LA. I live in LA because I am married to an American who is from here. We've been married for about 8 years. So my word usage / accent can be a little weird. I have been here long enough that I have converted some words, but not everything. I started stitching when I was 13. I have been basically stitching ever since, which is a very long time. I am in my 40s. I think that officially means I have been stitching for 30 years, which is crazy to think that that is almost a third of my life. Sorry, almost 2/3 of my life. I have, I'm a pop culture nerd, mostly Disney, Star Wars, sci-fi fantasy in general, but we'll pop into other things as well. My stitching tends to reflect that. I'm also a sewer who wishes she could make historical costumes, so I stitch fancy ladies instead. Cross stitch is my biggest form of artistic expression, because it is math. Same reason I think I like diamond painting. It is math. It is counting. It is squares. I articulated this at work yesterday and it was fantastic. I also have databases that I keep track of all my stitching in. I have an app on my phone. I have a spreadsheet on my computer. Math. Makes me happy. In saying that, I do have that's what the reflection is in my glasses. I have a spreadsheet that I'm using to keep track of, so behind me, behind the screen or to the side, I do have a spreadsheet that I'm using that has all of my stitching information, fabric, designer, needle minders, and my stitches. I will try to remember to give all of that information, how many stitches I did this year and total stitches done and the percentage on the project, as well as my start date. I kind of in my brain have a plan that I'm hoping my format works, just to make my editing easier. But on that note, let's jump into the stitching. So my oldest project is American Classic This is by Posy Collection and was started in 2009. This may not be my oldest WIP. It may be my second oldest, but they were both started within about a 6-month window. And this one I don't actually have a start date written on it. Here is where I was. This is stitched on a 16 count Adia white that came in the kit. Actually, it might be an off-white because I purchased this as a kit from Graceland when I was there in 2005. And here is where I'm at. I have done 2,325 stitches, 1,600 of which were this year, and I'm at 50.48%. I'm really close to finishing this one. This will be my focus oldest WIP project. Hopefully I'll have that finished in the next couple of months. But you'll probably see it like every WIP, every Flosstube for the next, till it's done. Needle Minder is, and you're always going to forget it. Needle Minder is from Black Needle Society. Project Bag was from Live and Die LA. I do not know who the maker is of these ones. Next up is Bookworm Very. This is by Heaven and Earth Designs. Artwork is by Lynn. I can't remember if my cover image says Hannah Disney. I've had this so long that was prior to her changing her username for her artwork. I started this, I believe, on the 10th of December in 2009. Here is where it was. This is stitched on a 28 count Jubilee by Stitches and Spice. I believe the colorway is Splash, but I well and truly lost the info cards on this, as I have been working on it for forever. It does have parked threads. Some of my bigger projects will. And here is where I'm at. I'm folding that too close to the top. Here is where I'm at. I'm at 55,377 stitches, 1,395 of which were this year, and I'm at 56.71%. I'm currently working in this bottom corner down here. Needle minders are by Descent Stitch and Inchworm Designs. She is my next oldest WIP, so once I finish American Classic, you will start seeing a lot more of her, with the goal being at least 500 stitches a month on my oldest project. This one is going to take a really long time if that's the only stitches I do on it. Next up, I've only got 4 projects that predate 2023. Next up is Dragon Virtues. This was from Dragon Dreams. I started this on the 7th of September 2014. I believe, again, I'm running by the 7th of June 2014. I'm running by the date I have written here. So that would have been when I finished that square originally. But those first squares weren't too bad. So that's probably the date I started it as well. This was a website freebie from 2002, 2003. I don't actually remember when it was released. My fabric is not the same as this, so I have reorganized the design a little bit. Okay, so here is where it was at the start of the year. This is stitched on a 18 count Afghan 4/2, which makes it a 9 count, which is why it's 4 threads. I don't remember the brand of the Afghan, so that was the one I was working on at the start of the year. And then I have also finished the first moon, and I am working on the first of the dragons. There's 16 dragons plus a bunch of moons and stars and the sun. I'm at 2,424 stitches, 1,534 stitches of which I did this year. I'm at 9.13%. This is actually on my wheel for January, so hopefully I will get that first dragon done. When this becomes my oldest WIP, my goal will probably be to finish one of the squares per month. Again, that feels like it's going to take a really long time, but I'm hoping to get a bunch done before it comes up. It is kept in a reasonable shopping bag because it is too big for a project bag, because that is a chunky amount of fabric. Next up is Rapunzel in Rococo. This is by Heaven and Earth Designs, and I started it on the 1st of January in 2020. So this was my New Year, New Start for 2020. And this is where I was at the start of the year. This is stitched on a 36 count Edinburgh in light mocha by Zagwart. That one and Wilshire. I have no idea. This again has hanging threads, and here is where I'm at. Let's see if I can get her back far enough that you can see all of her. So that I am at 50%. So I have done 45,907 stitches, 3,138 this year. I'm at 50.35%. I believe halfway down the pattern is about here. So we're nearly halfway down. This is the area I finished. This is the area that I am currently working on. She lives in these Q-snaps. These Q-snaps only fit this project. Well, technically they can fit others because, you know, I have made them bigger. But it is easier to leave her in the Q-snap because the Q-snap is the perfect width for this project. She doesn't live in a project bag. She just literally lives in the Q-snap. Which means, seriously, I should work on her more. But, again, Needleminder is by Ginger Stitch AU and Silks for You. I have to find the backing for that one. Oh, and Black Needle Society. Okay. The rest of my projects are in a very precarious pile on this side of me. Let's hope they don't fall. So we're now into my 2023 starts. And here we go. First up is Villa Mirabilia by Mirabilia. She was started on the 15th of January in 2023. Technically, she's my 2023 new start. I don't know why she didn't get started until the 15th, but, you know, life. So, here is where she was. This is stitched on a 28 count Lugana in Bayeux by Live and Die LA. And here is where she is. And again, she's big. I have done 19,888 stitches, 2,215 of which were this year. And I'm pretty sure everything I stitched this year was in her skirt. I'm at 44.25%. I am halfway down the design because the bottom half of the design is very, like, there's a lot of skirt and a lot of stitching. Needle minders are by Black Needle Society and from a Black Needle Society box, but I do not remember who the designer and maker of that one was. This is in a Creative Totes project bag. I actually have this project bag in both the large and the medium and the accessory pouch. Everything is going away as I go, so everything is together. Next up is Quick Stitch Seahorse. This is also a Heaven and Earth design. Artwork is by Ching-Chou Kuik. I started this on the 26th of January 2023. Here is where I was. This is stitched on a 16 count Opal Adia in Smack the Jellyfish by Live and Die LA. And here is where I'm at to. I've done 5,492 stitches. 1,052 were done this year. And I'm at 52.24%. This is the one the needle minder fell off. Needle minder is by Midnight Spell Designs. I actually need a chunkier needle minder on it because I've only got the tiny little gum bear on it at the moment. So I think I'm about halfway down. I'm working on like page 4 or page 6 or something. This one is in a shared project bag, which will come up shortly. Next up is Wonders of the Hubble Space Telescope. This is by Climbing Goat Designs. I started this on the 26th of January 2023. This was a sale for 2023. I did not keep up. I am not finished. They're start-alongs for a reason. Here is where I was. This is stitched on a 28 count Lugana in Midnight Sky by Live and Die LA. I worked for Live and Die LA. Many of my fabrics are Live and Die LA. My magnets decided to stick together because they are just slightly too close together to not be friends. And unfortunately these two magnets, while they are from the same maker, are magnetized different ways. So here is where I'm up to. Wait, we're a little bit below half. Again, hanging threads. Here is where I'm up to. So I have completed 6 of the space images. I have done 12,992 stitches, 3,001 of which were this year. I'm at 65.71%. That doesn't include the backstitch on this one. This one has a lot of backstitch because all of that writing is in backstitch. But we're making progress. Hopefully we might get this one close to a finish this year if I can focus on it a little bit. I would like it finished. Needle minders are by Thread Wine. They're both, let me get them, there we go. Just a couple of planets. And this is in a Wild Violet project bag. Okay, next is the big one. This is the Harry Potter project. For anybody who this is a problem for. So this is Frogwarts. I'm technically working on all of them. But I'm still mostly working on 1, 2, and 6. 6 I started last year. But I'm going to cover it here. Because it's a big project. So year 1, So these are all by the Black Needle Society. This was started on the 19th of June 2023. Year 2 was started on the 10th of June 2023. And year 6 was started on the 10th of July 2025. So the first 2 were started before I did my first Frogwarts. Year 6 was started during Frogwarts this year. Well, last year now. And I am stitching all of them on the same project. Here are my before photos. So here is year 1. Here is year 2. And year 6 was a new start. This is stitched on a 28 count Lugana in French Vanilla Mistake by Live and Die LA. And here is where I'm at. So year 1, I just have those motifs in the middle left to finish. So we've got like Ron here. I've got to put the wings in the key. We've got Harry's glasses. We've got the Philosopher's Stone. The rest of the umbrella. I feel like there's something else in there as well that I'm missing. I did all of this in Etoile and it does not show up on camera. This, oh, and the stitch. The snitch is the other one that's in here that I will also do in Etoile. Here is, so on year 1, I'm at 5,996 stitches, 5,461 of which I did this year. And that one is at 54.25%. Here is year 2. I didn't do much on this one yet this year. This one is at 2,041 stitches. I did 419 this year. Pretty sure they were all in the car. I have done the car with the wheel on the wrong side. But when I saw the conversion, I had already stitched it. This one is at 18.73%. Year 3, I am technically just restitching the quotes. So that one's about half pulled out. Year 4, I have pulled out the quote. Year 5, I have pulled out the quote. I am restitching them. The letters weren't the same and the spacing wasn't the same, so I re-patterned it. I technically have a rechart line on my pattern. I have 593 stitches left to remove, and then I've got like 5,500 stitches to restitch. And then here is where I'm at on year 6. So year 6, I'm at 6,640 stitches on 53.36%. I'm kind of a little bit all over the place on this one. I did the, where am I? I'm doing the locket in metallic thread. I'm doing the necklace in, I did that in the Etoile. I did the ring in Etoile. I add 1 strand of blending filament to the spells just to give them a sparkle, considering the first 2 didn't really have any spells. So yeah, you can we see it? Can we see it? I tried switching it out for an Etoile, and like there were too many, so it was easier just to add 1 strand of pearl blending filament. My goal is to have this 100% complete by the end of Frogwarts this year, including all the backstitch, including the backstitch I'm adding. This is also stitched in the fancy thread called for DMC Etoile. I don't think I've oh, and then for any skin I switched that out for 9.48. There is my fabric's a little light, so there is a lot of backstitch I need to do around any of the white stitching. So that's where I am. Needle Minder is from Black Needle Society. That was from last year's box. I've only got the one on there at the moment, so that is a project that we're going to see a lot of for the next 6 months. Next up is Koala Cards. This is from World of Cross Stitching. Was designed by Fiona Baker. And here is where I was. This was started on the 30th of June 2023. This was also a Frogwarts Year 3 start. Here is where it was. This is on a 28 count Lugana in Evergreen Dew by Live and Die LA. And here is where I'm up to. So I finished the first one, which was this Koala and Baba. And then I started a second one. I'm at 2,572 stitches, 1,696 with this year. That doesn't include all of the backstitch that I did, because this one has a lot of backstitch, with all the 10 stitches counted as one stitch. And I'm at 35.2%. So working on 2 or 4. Needle minders are from Ginger Stitch AU, and these two are from Midnight Spell Designs. Next up is Royal Games 1 by Mirabilia. This was started on the 6th of July 2023. This is where it was. This is stitched on a 28 count Lugana in also French Vanilla Mistake. And here is where I'm up to. Put it sideways. Nope, that's upside down. I have stitched 4,033 stitches, 3,092 of which were this year. I'm at 38.58%. I am over halfway on the top one. So some more sleeve to add in. But I believe this is the bottom edge of her sleeve on this side. And this may be the bottom edge of her sleeve on this side. Needle minders are from Amazon. These were from an Amazon store that was closing. And from Atom Heart cross stitch. This is a me-made project bag, actually. I have been forgetting the project bags. The last one was a stitch toolbox off Etsy, and the one before that was Black Needle Society. Next up is Celtic Snow by Northern Expressions Needlework. This was started on the 30th of July 2023. Here's where it was. And this is stitched on a 28 count Lugana in Celtic Snow. This was a colorway we dyed specifically, originally explicitly for this project. It has hanging threads. This is being stitched in the called for dinky dyes. And here is where I'm up to. I have done 1,213 stitches, 1,071 of which were done this year, and I'm at 10.68%. So I've done that first. I'm about halfway across the top border. Basically I came down here because this is where my Q snap was sitting. So it looks amazing in person. It's probably not showing up in camera, but all of those colours are variegated because they are hand dyes. So needle minders are from Amazon, Midnight Spell Designs, and Ginger Stitch AU. And this is in a Bags by Judy project bag that I got at a retreat many years ago. This is not my normal style. It doesn't have a zip, it has a button closure. But it's not a bad bag. Next up, this is by me. So this is, I'm currently calling it Around the Fair. It is Fair Food, like Fair Foods, Carnival Foods, with some rides on the back of roller coaster and a Ferris wheel that just repeat. This is, as I said, designed by me. This was started on the 31st of July 2023. Here is where it was. This is stitched on a 40 count linen in Mold to the Earth by Live and Die LA. And here is where I'm at. I have one of these in. I don't know why I probably didn't actually show my before on this, because this is the only project I didn't get any stitches on in the last 12 months. So I originally stitched it 2/1 and I went to 1/1. It's a much better project. I don't gravitate to it. Even though I should finish test stitching it and get the biscorno done and, you know, maybe do something with it. I'm at 770 stitches and 20.93%. Yeah. It just needs to be done. It is on my wheel for January, so it should get some stitches this year. It is in a needle minders are from Adam Hart Cross Stitch and Live and Die LA. Everything's being blown out today. I don't know why. The light is exactly the same as it was the other night. This is in a Golden Familiars project bag. Next up is Quick Stitch Ladybug. This is also by Heaven and Earth Designs. This is also artwork by Ching-Chou Kuik. And was started on the 27th of September 2023. And here is where it was. This is stitched on 16 count Opal Adia in Magnetized by Live and Die LA. And here's where I'm at. I am at 1988 stitches. I did 1893 stitches this year. And I'm at 16.21%. Yeah, apparently I did most of these stitches this year. I have already finished one of these black designs. I did Dragonfly, which is why I'm doing the 3 of these on Adia. I do not love Adia. Man, you can tell the difference between the sized and the unsized. But, you know, we'll get them done. And then I can be a happy camper. Needle minders are from Galloway Gallery, and that's the only one I have on there. So that's Jungle Cruise, I think. Yeah. Sorry. Next up is Clue. This is by Forbidden Fibre Co. I started this on the 4th of December in 2023. This is where I was. It's stitched on a 32 count Belfast in the colorway Conservatory by Forbidden Fibre Co. And here's where I'm at. So this is being stitched in the code for. This was actually designed with custom colors. So I don't remember what colors I've stitched in. I'm on the 3rd color. I've done 2 of them. I have done 1813 stitches 479 were done this year, and I'm at 21.93%. I just need to get through the manor, and then I think I'll stitch on it more because it's boring. It is in a project bag by Forbidden Fibre Co. that came with the kit. Needleminder was also Forbidden Fibre Co. and came with the kit. Next up is Turtle by Mill Hill. This is, we're now officially into 2024 projects. So this was started on the 8th of January in 2024. This is where I was. This is stitched on the included 14 count perforated paper in light blue. And here is where I'm at. So I have done, this one may be a bit more of an estimate. I've done 2,772 stitches, 1,638 of which were done this year. I'm at 49.95%. I want to say like about 15% is just beads. But, you know, we're getting there. Next up is one of my big projects. This is Disneyland. This is by Nini Designs. This is one of the many variants available on Etsy. I started this on the 30th of January 2024. 2024 was Fandom's Disney year. And this was my yearly project. I was working on for that. I did not get nearly as much of it done on that as I was hoping. This does have hanging threads. Here is where I was. And this is on a 14 count linen in Easter grass by Live and Dial. And here's where I'm at. So, I have done 12,462 stitches. 1,705 were done this year, and I'm at 14.31%. Yeah. It has a lot to go. But I really like working on this one. I'm doing this 1/1 on 18 count. Yes, my threads are way too long, but my pet hate is starting and stopping threads, and I will travel way further than is deemed recommended to not start and stop threads. This is in a project bag by me. Needle minders are by Galloway Gallery, and Midnight Spell Designs is the Mickey. You're gonna see a theme for like a lot of the projects for the 2024. Next up is Electrical Light Parade. This is the original start date. I did restart this one though. So this is by Atomic Tiki Pins. I started this on the 11th of February 2024, which would have been starting for Year of the Dragon. I had started on Elliot, but I was doing that 2/1 and decided it was too heavy. Here's where I was. I'm stitching this on 36 count Opal Lugana in yeah, I think I got a Lugana. I managed to find one. It might be Edinburgh, but it looks even. I'm at 1,000 and... oh, here's where I'm at. So most of this year has actually been spent gridding this and not stitching it. So I did a little bit on them. So I'm at 1,236 stitches. 612 were done this year. I'm at 2.72%. At the moment, I am mostly just gridding this because I keep miscounting on the opal, black opal. But I'm not even, I'm about a third of the way across in gridding. I have gridded the section I'm working on, so it may get some actual stitches when it gets spun up. Needle Minder is not on here because I'm gridding. Project bag is from a Black Needle Society bag. Next up is the companion piece to Wonders of the Hubble Telescope. This is Wonders of the James Webb Telescope. This is also by Climbing Go Designs. I started this on the 24th of February 2024. Again, this was a stitch along that I did not stitch along with. I think by the end of 2024 I had barely finished the hexagons. I did not get a lot of this. No, most of what I have here is what I got done in 2024. Here is where I was. This is stitched also on 28 Count Lugana in Midnight Sky by Live and Die LA. As I said, I'm doing this as a companion piece. And here's where I'm at. I'm at 4,519 stitches. I did 144 this year. I'm at 24.24%. Yeah, I think I finished this guy here this year. That's all I got done. Needle minders are from Dying for Sass and Ginger Stitch AU. And is in a Live and Die LA project bag. We're getting there. Next up is Anzac. This is a Long Dog sampler. I started this on the 29th of February 2024. This is technically a Long Dog leap year start project, with the goal to have it finished by the next one. Here is where I was. I am stitching this on a 28 count Lugana. Technically the colorway is January 2024 fabric of the month. I think this might be Palomino. I know it did get a name and was added to the website, but I do not remember. I'm pretty sure it was Palomino. And I am stitching it in PR 181 by Silks For You. Here is where I'm at. I have 1,918 stitches. I did 307 this year. I'm at 6.53%. I'm not looking good for my finished by the next leap year unless I get a lot of stitches in it this year. But we will see. Needle minders are Ginger Stitch AU. Yes, I have 2 of these. Silks For You and Inchworm Designs. This is also in a Live and Die LA project bag with all of those many lengths of that silk. Next up is the Monster Bunch. This is by Witchy Stitcher. This is from the Cross Stitch Society Universal Monsters Retreat in 2024. So I started this at the retreat on the 14th of April 2024. Here is where I was. This is stitched on the included fabric, which is a 32 count linen ritual by Witch's Garden Crafts. Here is where I'm up to. I'm at 1,424 stitches. I did 1,246 this year, and I'm at 20.71%. I'm doing all of the black first, then I'll go in and do the green and the purple, and then we're going to move the monsters around. So, to make it a little bit more Brady Bunch order to make brains happy. This is in a Golden Familiars bag with the Universal Monsters toile on the inside. So next up is Winter Wonderland. This is by Jan Hicks Creates. I started this on the 11th of March 2024. This is where I was. This is stitched on 32 count Belfast and Over the Moon from Colour and Cotton. And here is where I'm up to. This was in a Black Needle Society Christmas box. So this is where I'm up to. I have done 729 stitches, 508 of which were this year, and I'm at 30.93%. This is my project with the least stitches. I think I have about 2,000 stitches to go. This is also a focus piece. So the goal is to get this finished. Again, I'm doing about 500 stitches a month until those, like the project with the least stitches is done. That is a dynamic list. Though once the project falls into that category, it becomes the project I finish, and then I will start on the, if one gets less stitches than it. Needle minders are from a Black Needle Society box. I do not remember who it's from. And Forbidden Fibre Co. That was from there. Christmas box. This is in a Pinky Promises project bag. So pretty. That is embroidered, and honestly, I need more of these, but she doesn't. I never remember to check. Next up is we start the Insane projects. So this is Death by Cross Stitch. This is my restart date. This is by Long Dog Samplers. This was started on the 14th of May 2024. And I'm into Mania from 2024. Here is where I was. This is stitched on a 32 count Lugana on thin ice. This is actually a error dye. It's a little bit darker than on thin ice is normally, and I'm stitching this in 152 PR 152 from Silks for You. And here is where I'm up to. I have done 2,371 stitches, 1,456 were this year, and I'm at 2.92%. There's a reason it's called Death by Cross Stitch. This is on a half, and everything is currently on an eighth. Our needle minders are from Live and Die LA and Ginger Stitch AU. I don't know why the kangaroo is upside down. Ginger Stitch AU. This is also in the other Creative Totes project bag. Next is Pacific Crest Trail. This is by Black Velvet Stitches. I started this on the 19th of May 2024. Here is where I was. This is stitched on a 25 count Lugana in Lascaux by Live and Die LA. And here's where I'm up to. I did so well on this project this year, and I only hit 10%. So I have done 8,941 stitches, 8,649 of which were this year. I'm at 10.81%. But the reason this stitch count is so high is all of the states get filled in. We are currently stitching the crest and then making the decision on whether the states need to be filled in. I don't think they need to be. I honestly think so. They're stitched in a different shades of green, and I think that's going to make the actual trail disappear. I think on this fabric, on white, probably filling them in, but I think on this fabric, it doesn't need it. If so, I'm like 50-something% done. Because there's a lot of stitches in that logo. But I am stitching this for a friend who did the crest trail in 2022. yeah, 2022. So I'm working with her. If she wants those states stitched, I will stitch them. She's aware that that's going to take me a long time. But I did get a chunk of stitches on that this year. I think I have like 15,000 stitches just in the crest. So next up is Santa's Stamp Collection. This is by Black Needle Society and it was also started on the 19th of May 2024. Here is where I was. This is stitched on a 32 count Lugana in plush by Fortnite Fabrics. And here is where I'm up to. I have done 2,412 stitches, 2,175 of which were done this year. I'm at 15.45%. I'm mostly working on those Echo borders at the moment. This is the called for fabric, but as you can see, most of the colors tend to blend in. It's not quite as bad in real life at the moment today. My light is just blowing everything out, and I'm so sorry for that. Needle minders are from Ginger Stitch AU. The glow in the dark bear is my favorite. Well, not my favorite, but he's right up there. Because glow in the dark and bears. He is adorable. Next up is Ever After. This was a stitch along by Forbidden Fibre Co. This is the quotes. This was started on the 22nd of February 2024. Here is where I was. This is stitched on a 32 count linen Ever After. This is all by Forbidden Fibre Co. I purchased the kit and that came with the fabric and the threads. And here is where I am up to. I have done 1,586 stitches, 1,179 of which were done this year. I'm at 12.59%. Everything is being stitched. I'm only stitched in Gilded Cage, so it does tend to blend in a little bit on camera. I'm literally just working on the borders. It does not come out as often as it should to get projects done. This is why I have changed my goal wheels for this year, to try and actually manage to get progress on stuff. Needle minder is from Stitch and Button in a Stitch and Button project bag. None of my project bags make any sense. They were the ones that were handy at the time. Next up is Peace on Earth by Pansy Patch Quilts and Stitchery. Here's where I was. This stitched on 36 count linen in marbled pointer by XJU Designs. And here's where I'm up to. This is I've done 1,635 stitches, 815 of which were this year. I'm at 20.89%. This is not really my jam. Like, all of these little motifs, not my jam. But I am determined to get it finished. And hopefully that will happen this year. It's not quite on the lowest number of stitches, but I think it's fairly close. And again, next up is Jose. This is by Atomic Tiki Pins. I started this on the 9th of July 2024. Here is where I was. This is stitched on a 28 count Opal Lugana in Dole Whip by Live and Die LA. And here is where I'm up to. I have done 2,551 stitches, 1,741 of which were this year. I'm at 56.17%. I am currently working on his background, and then so I can do the back stitch on the inside as I go. Then I'll do the bottom of his tail. Once he's finished, the next one will get started. I have all 4 of the Enchanted Tiki Room Birds by Atomic Tiki Pins. Needle minders are by Galloway Gallery. He will probably see a bunch of. He is my current Disney project. So, like, hopefully he'll get some work this week, to be 100% honest. Yeah, we're getting him done. I'm really happy with the progress I got in him this year. Next up is another Disney project and another Atomic Tiki Pens. This is Pirate Crest. This was also started on the 9th of July 2024. Both of these were started as prompts for 2024 Frogwarts. Here is where I was. This is stitched on a 28 count Lugana in parchment by Live and Die LA. And here's where I'm at. So I have done 3,939 stitches. 3,208 were done this year. I'm at 22.45%. I have finished the skull and crossbones. I have finished the revolvers, and I have finished the bird. And that is it. Needleminder is by Inchworm Designs. This is in a Black Needle Society bag. No, this is in a Live and Die LA bag. Next up is Rosamond by Mirabilia. This was started on the 9th of February the 9th of July 2024. Another Frogwarts prompt start. This is where she was. This is stitched on 28 count Opal Lugana in Temptation Weights. And here is by Live and Die LA. This is where I'm up to. I got a chunk done. So we are... I have done 1,298 stitches, 1,040 of which were done this year. I'm at 3.87%. Next time I work on her, I'm actually going to do the post on the other side. Needle minders are from Ginger Stitch AU. It's running away. There it is. That's the pair. There's a space one that goes with it. And Galloway Gallery. Galloway Gallery, I believe, has removed a lot of their Disney stuff from their website and only has a limited collection on their Etsy. Next up is my last 2024 start. This is Aurora's Castle. This I started on the 30th of December 2024. This is by Pixie Stitch. And here is where I was. This is stitched on 32 count Aqua Lugana by Live and Die LA. And here's where I'm up to. So this got a ton done actually. So I'm at 1,667 stitches. 1,442 stitches were done this year. I'm at 31.93%. I want to say a chunk of these were actually done at the Disney retreat by Cross Stitch Society. This is in a Lynn Stitches project bag. We're now into 2025 starts. None of these projects will have before photos. First up is Mickey Villains. At least that's what I call it. I don't actually remember what it's called on the website. I think it's just like Mickey 2 or something like that. This is by Al Cross Stitch on Etsy. This was started on the 3rd of January 2025. It's stitched on a 32 count Lugana Quick Quotes quill by Bee Stitch Me, and this is so washed out. This is a really vibrant lime green. That's where I got to. I have done 1,665 stitches and I'm at 16%. Needle Minder is by Elements Thread Wine. It is the only one I have put backwards on my spreadsheet. Project Back is by Black Newer Society. Next up is 4 projects. So first up we have Bookmark Shire. These are all by Country Magic Stitch. This one was started on the 15th of June 2025, and that is this one. So this one got 423, that is in 10 stitches, and is at 10.51%. Next up was Argonath. This one was started on the 16th of June 2025. This one got 480. Oh yeah, there's a ton of white. 485 stitches, and is at 12.5%. There's literally a ton of white that you just can't see. Next up is Isengard. This one was started also on the 16th of June 2025. This one got 664 stitches. And last up was Mordor. This one was started on the 17th of June 2025. And this one got 824 stitches. These are all 10 stitch on 25 count. Lugana, Isengard Lugana. These were done for fandom prompts. I needed like 100, 200, 300, and 400 stitches. Because I did 10, I had to double that. So that's why there's that number. I think the Shire, I just finished out my thread and that's where I got to. Needle minders are by Black Needle Society. And I think this was included in a gallery order. These are also being used as a how do I like stitching on 25 easy count, as I do have all 8 of the Country Magic Stitch travel posters in Star Wars, and the 2 Jurassic Park, so the Jurassic Park and Isla Nublar ones. And last but not least is my birthday start from this year. This is, I didn't pull the pattern out, Mythical Dragon by Jasmine. This was started on the 3rd of November 2025. This is a really old kit. I want to say I've had this kit for at least 15 years, possibly longer. I only got 158 stitches on this. This is stitched on a 28 count Jubilee in black. I switched out the Adia for the Jubilee. That's all I got stitched. This is 158 stitches. This first section, I restitched that. That's the 3rd attempt. This is stitched in 2 strands of floss, 1 strand of blending filament. So it is a bit of a pain to stitch. But this will definitely get more stitches this year. I'm at 1.14%. Needle Minder is by Ginger Stitcher. He is the crafty craft hoard dragon. So that is all of my projects. If you're interested to know what I plan on stitching in the new year, cover image, that is all included in my first Flosstube of the year, 43. That kind of does my wrap up, as well as what my plans are for 2026. But mostly it's to get more stitches on all of these projects and work on every single one of them, and hopefully finish a bunch. On that note, I am wrapping up. I'm hoping this wasn't too long. I do feel like it's probably come in at just over an hour, maybe an hour and a half. I lost track of time somewhere in there. And I hope you have a great stitching year, have enjoyed this and stick around. Do the YouTube thingies, like, comment, subscribe, share, do whatever you like. And have a great day. Ciao.